Hi, my name is Jennifer K. Dick. I am going to read to you a small section from Lilith, a novel in fragments, published by Corrupt Press in September 2019. This is a book that I would have been reading from tonight, an avid books in Athens, Georgia. However, given the pandemic, I am at my parents' home in Iowa. So I am going to read you a section called Prints, which was composed while in Italy, and which seems resonant in a totally different way given the current situation. I will also mix this with a small selection of pages from the end of another poem in the book called Retina. So here goes. From Lilith, a novel in fragments. Prints. Here, entering is gray-green, luminary, smudges. Clay her hands hold, forward or toward, door, thimble, snag. She is a running closer, lily in the lemony sunrise. Something pierces. Sound of trickling water. 17th century ochre-roofed cupola. Layers are, like time, hands pressing, drowned vessel. What is contained in the container? Around. Dry leaves palmed in the olive grove, chestnuts, willows, sparrows. She is taken ill. Train holler, plane dusting, alcove uncovered. Being lost is simply part of the expected. In the labyrinth they turn, coy, copy, collier. Drive toward the precipice past rain. The windy morning pungent mushrooms, cul-de-sac, where she, sound of water trickling, says it will be okay. Cupula's ochre, culprit, pulp, rotten, like entering someplace familiar, winding. What is simple? Is simple because it is contained. Rain against fog where a wall, fade, then reappear. Dried vines climb the facade. If hands were flattened, there's the volume to consider. V equals memory of an afternoon uncalculated, the wheel turning between her toes, algebra, cryptograph, geometry, fade then reappear. A line from the television, mercurial cleft shale on which clothes hang. She listens to the voices, two stones side by side, crevices, cables, convoys, damp ring at tree base. What if she continued to climb? What if returning were the only route, an olive leaf catching dew? The village pours toward the market. To backtrack being refrain or to refrain from, mangoes, rubble, conifers. Lines scratch against themselves, surface grids, a book, monument. Lean out over the banking cliff. Thumb to index to pointer. Dew and the fireflies. Lily wondered at the azure. 5 cracked pathways to choose, pinky to ring, and which to glaze, what to hand build to support to. A tree, frost, mildew. The basement taps dripping by the books. She carpets herself in gray print, still legible. If April or October, yellow blooms, cold bees. A hand shifts to brush, dabble, dust, dahlia. Lily cups the shadows in her sleep. There are only turned pages in her almanac. Color graphs, Paleolithic to monolith. Epidermis, glass or water, glint from too clear varnish. The key to transparency, backtracking. Light beginning to burn. Fingers closing, then opening, bone fracture fragment, where stone is concrete, clay, hands hold out to wet. She pours layers over layers, the blue too ashen for azure. Something cries out, then fades. Eskimos in sealskin shirts under Arctic mountains. Tides with tiny shells in her ear. Stone encrusted on stone. Rickety carts carried inland. Olive groves, orange peels, debris. Lily traces the cracks. Magenta, alpine, needles. Viaducts to carry away and bring back bronze, marble, gravel. What good was recollection if enduring wasn't? A thimble near the rocking chair recalled There is the back and forth to consider, frameworks of conjunctions or constellations, a barrel, serpent, an anagram. The past wasn't puzzled out, a parcel tied neatly on the step, a cool grain cutting untoward, shrill yelp barely permeable. It's as possible as saying yes or yes. Synaptic circuitry on the mainframe of virus spreads. Sunlight, dust, fly. A persistent hum in the underbrush. Or ears pricked for red sound. A spider entangling web over the corner. Reflection at odd intervals like waves. Weather reports. Apples. A sting. In late afternoon, something drowsy at the periphery. A peripheral scandal. Progress in tender tendril. Mustard fields blanketed by mist, hands of lavender on the... What was stepping back to accomplish? A letter, feather, helix, retreating on whose spindly legs the goat, a braying caught in vine shoots. To undermine is, at the doorstep, a woodpile awaiting fire, sequestered and communicative. Movement was no wondering matter, a gourd smashed underfoot by the beach, cypress, oak, fir, dipped fingers froth a burning, desire cold blue, to figure the recollection of time, wharf, hand, tick, hazy axles splutter under brush, bonding made of indeterminate particles, those things that cannot be seen, ink, laser, radium, clear circuitry or clear circulating or in circuitry, try around or round, dilated to centimeters, reduced to exposed, fractured, fragmented, years of preparation to refigure, lit from underneath, business as usual, the craggy shell. So that's from Lilith, a novel in fragments, and certainly credit should be given to Myung-Mi Kim, one of my favorite authors, who wrote the book Dura many years ago, and one of the forms that takes place in her book Dura involved a certain number of trios that I took that form into this book, into these sections of this book. I hope that everyone out there is healthy and safe.